Yarrabah, traditionally Yakuljada in the Yidin language spoken by the indigenous Yidinji people, is a coastal town and locality in the Aboriginal Shire of Yarrabah, Queensland, Australia. It is an Aboriginal community about 53 kilometers by road from Cairns CBD on Cape Grafton. It is much closer by direct line distance but is separated from Cairns CBD by the Murray Prior Range and Trinity Inlet, an inlet of the Coral Sea. At the 2016 census, Yarrabah had a population of 2,559. Genge is an Aboriginal language of far north Queensland. The Genge language region of Cape Grafton includes the landscape within the local government boundaries of the Cairns Regional Council and Yarrabah Community Council. An Anglican church missionary, Ernest Gribble in 1892 began to regularly visit an Aboriginal group who inhabited the Yarrabah area, living a very traditional lifestyle. These visits by Gribble were to encourage the tribe to move to a mission settlement he was setting up. With the help of the tribe's leader, Men Mooney, the tribe moved to the mission now known as Yarrabah Community. The mission was settled in 1893. Over time, many people were relocated from homelands in the surrounding area to Yarrabah. Yarrabah State School was opened on the 1st of January 1892. In 2017, Yarrabah State School celebrated its 125th anniversary. In 1957, the Yarrabah residents staged a strike to protest poor working conditions, inadequate food, health problems and harsh administration. The church expelled the ringleaders and many others left voluntarily, never to return. A few years later, the government of Queensland assumed control of the mission. As a result, still today most of Yarrabah's crown land, native title claims here are hard to put forward, due to the very fragmented ethnic composition of this community, with many Aboriginal people in Yarrabah having been settled here from other areas, including interstate. In 1965, an advisory council was set up which allowed Aboriginal people to give advice to the Department of Aboriginal Affairs, but it had no actual power and the government continued to control all aspects of local people's lives. In 1979, several community members joined a union but were stood down. Eventually, on the 27th of October 1986, the community received deed of grant in trust land tenure, making it subject to the Community Services Act 1984, which allowed for self-governing Aboriginal community councils with a range of powers and controls over the land. With the passage of reforms in 2005, the council became an Aboriginal Shire and gained the authority of a legal local government. Following the 2001 Cape York Justice Study findings, Yarrabah became one of many indigenous communities in Queensland to be subject to an alcohol management plan. Restrictions on alcohol possession commenced on 6 February 2004, with a review by 2006. A 2012 survey for another review showed the community was divided on easing restrictions. On 23 July 2007, Yarrabah hosted the cabinet of the Queensland government in the first ever cabinet meeting to be held in an Indigenous Australian community. On 1 October 2007, the Howard Coalition government chose Yarrabah as the first recipient of what was said to be a landmark housing and welfare reform agreement. In 2009, as part of the local government reform agenda in Queensland, the council gained recognition as a local government council. The population of community was given to be about 630 Indigenous persons in 1952. According to the 2016 census, the town had a population of 2,559 people. However, note that official estimates of population may be undercounts due to both language barriers and the transient nature of residents of the outstations. Of those, 97.4% identified as Aboriginal or Torres Strait Islander. The median age of Yarrabah residents was 23, compared with 38 nationally. The majority of the Yarrabah workforce was engaged as either laborers or as community and personal service workers, and worked in local government administration or social assistance services. The median individual income was $224 per week compared with $534 per week for the Cairns Statistical district. 84.8% of people spoke only English at home. Other languages spoken at home included Creole at 6.7%. The most common responses for religion were Anglican 84.6% and no religion 7.4%. The Yarrabah community has a state preschool, primary school and high school, which extends to year 10 only. The nearest school for students continuing on to senior years is located in Gordonvale. Pupils who attend the Gordonvale High School commute to and from it with a free-of-charge school bus, which is the only public transport available for Yarrabah residents. A few decades back, a ferry service used to take pupils to and from school in Cairns. Before the road to Yarrabah was sealed, this service is no longer in use. The Yarrabah community has a public library which serves a number of purposes including access to computers and the intern.